Hello and welcome to today's historic Best of 3 deck tech and gameplay video on Temur Adventures. Temur Adventures is my first attempt at a list that at one point in time, I can't remember if it was in historic or in standard, actually saw some play, but this was before our return to Eldraine. And this is my version of that old deck with new Wilds of Eldraine cards, namely Balloona Grand Squall, being an OK giant that likes, cards that have adventures and having a pretty good card engine adventure on it all together. Besides that, we run just loads of other good adventure cards and their payoffs from cards like Bone Crusher, Brazen Borrower, and the new Sentinel of Lost Lore, as well as cards like Lucky Clover and Edgewall Innkeeper to get even more use off of the not more use, even more mileage out of your adventure cards beyond just the inherent, say, 2-for-1 value or value that any given adventure card has. And there's honestly not a whole lot to it. The majority of the deck is just cards that have adventures or like cards that have adventures. We do have 2 of each of the commands, since the deck needed some forms of interaction and a little bit of extra glue to hold it together to make it just sort of smooth out. And that's what these here are both here for. If you don't have them, they're not strictly necessary, but I'd be lying if I said they didn't help. Land base, pretty self-explanatory. Some triomes and some shocklands. One of the reasons we're not running the full 4 copies of the shocklands is that in order to make use of the Beanstalk Giant, we need to be able to search for basics. That's why we have 2 of each of the basics, as well as some pathways and some channel lands and other utility stuff. Just pretty infitting of what is expected in a land base. Sideboard is, for the most part, pretty self-explanatory. Haywire Might for some artifact and enchantment hate, although usually it's my dedicated, black one-ring deck kind of answers. Cyclonic Rift and Storm's Wrath are both the sweepers of the list, since in Temur you don't really get access to the 2 colors that are good at sweeping, i.e. white and black, so you have to sort of accept you're going to have to run and use weird options, and that's what Storm's Wrath is, and that's what Cyclonic Rift is. Some games you'll, only run one of the 2, some games will run both. It really just depends on the matchup. Rampaging Ferocidon for life gain, Chandra A Wicked Inferno against opposing control decks, some Clothuses for some graveyard hate, or if you just need some life gain against a more aggressive deck. A couple copies of Frilled Mystic if our opponent has really important spells that we want to counter. Nice little bit of tech here. And a single copy of Acidic Slime. I've personally been having a lot of pretty okay experience with Acidic Slime, even though it is the least assuming card that you would run. It's just a sideboard card that gets rid of usually artifacts or enchantments, and the reason why we run this card over other artifact and enchantment hate is that it also destroys lands, so when you run into the occasional Gates deck, you have an answer to Mace's End, or even a Baldur's Gate, if you need it. And that's all for the basics of the list. Don't forget to like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And with that out of the way, also, if you have any sort of comments like, I don't have X, what about Y, go ahead and leave them, or any other kind comments down below. You can sort of change up what individual adventure cards you have or adventure card payoffs you have. It's pretty flexible. I would just argue that these are some of the best ones that you can really get access to in the colors. Now, and now with that out of the way, we will go into game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Temur Adventures list. This is a 1-lander, so we're going to have a brain and throw that back. 3 lands, got some spells, but not a whole lot to do, granted. In that case, we'll throw away a Growth Spiral. Growth Spiral is one of those cards that's usually the first to get cut. It's just a nice little cantrip in the early game. Is it Mono Green Devotion, but they're running swamps? Okay. In that case, just Stomping Grounds, tapped and pass. I also got this. I really like this sleeve. Very nice. What are they doing? Okay, we're not drawing blue, which is not great. We would love to have access to all of our colors, but beggars can't be choosers. Just play a forest and pass. See what our opponent wants to do. Rick's Muddy. Is it some sort of, like, Jund list? Actually, I want to get rid of... Yeah, we'll go ahead and stomp the Reveler. Okay, I'm gonna turn this down in my headphones, but keep it the same volume for viewers at home. Because what sounds loud to me... Or not. What sounds loud to me... I can tell by looking at the audio levels. It's just not loud. Or it's not as loud for you. Oops, I forgot to change that layout back. We learned absolutely the square root of jack shit about what our opponent is doing, so let's run it again. And hopefully they don't just scoop immediately, and I can get an actual game and keep this game's footage. I will actually turn that back down like a % or two. I'll go 1. Why not? This is way better. 2 lands, couple lucky clovers, loads of cards with advantage. This is a beautiful opener. The only thing that you could make an argument is better is like maybe having an Innkeeper on one, but it's so good that we're not going to look at Gift Horse and all that. Triumph and pass. I assume our opponent is just trying to play some sort of Boomer Jund thing. I know that now. Drawing weird cards. Our opponent's list appears to have a whole bunch of pet cards, which I was gonna talk shit, but I mean, I'm playing fucking Temur Adventures. I wouldn't really have any ground to stand on. We'll go ahead and play a Lucky Clover. There's an argument that I shouldn't have played the Stomping Ground, and I could have just played like a non-shock land. But I'm imagining I'm gonna have some time to do this. I am gonna heed my own advice and actually not shock this one in. Play another Lucky Clover. Next turn, if nothing else. I mean, I don't think I care, right? Anyway, next turn, depending on what they do, which so far our turn remains largely the same, we're probably just going to play an island, play a Questing Druid, leaving us open, or leaving open some Bone Crusher Giant action, and we're going to go ahead and stomp the major... Ooh, hang on. It's not great, is it? You don't love that. Although... Okay, I am going to stick with my original plan. We're going to cast the original Stomp at the Bowmasters, because that is easily the most useful thing to get rid of. I think we're going to use the second on the Orc Army. And then do a third on any one of the Shambling Ghasts, since now we've grown the Questing Druid out of the range of the Brave the Stench option. I mean, yeah, they're getting treasure and ramp isn't great, but like we're alive, so we'll take those. Don't take that block. It does suck to lose that damage. And they could just remove our Questing Druid and like it would suck, but yeah, kind of like that. But I don't think their Jundless is going to have a whole lot of, like, burn on hand floating around. And I think we're going to do just much the same thing. Well, yeah, we're going to play the Boseiju as a land. Play the Questing Druid again. I think we're going to actually play a Bone Crusher Giant now. There is an argument to keeping open the Brazen Borrower mana, but they don't have anything on their board right now. And I would... like this, prefer to remove whatever it is they play. I will ask, why is that in your deck? I mean, okay, I guess. Anywho, we will play the Edgewall Innkeeper. We don't love the fact that we're not going to get all the activations from our Lucky Clover enabled Brazen Borrower, but we'll take it. Get rid of the Worm Coil. Then we're just going to get rid of one of their treasure tokens with a copy. And then I should be able to decline this. Okay, I don't understand. Why is that... Why am I... There are times... I must be fucking that up. It's always Brazen Borrower that does me in. Because I just declined a copy. I didn't decline the original. So why does that... Can somebody at home please explain where I screwed up on that? Anywho. Yeah, because my goal, yeah, was the original real copy bounces it. It's one of those... Whatever the copies target shouldn't affect, because the... Like, none of the copies targeted the worm coil, so there was nothing saying that my original Brazen Borrower should have fizzled at all. Anywho, it's frustrating, but it's fine. Let's see. We have 8 damage. I could play one thing. Going to 9. Yeah. Just play smart. Maybe he'll play the Brazen Borrower, or not the Brazen Borrower, the Worm Coil again, so we can try our Brazen Borrower. And I can try and figure out why it's doing that. I might just be an idiot, but like this has happened a couple times over the last couple weeks of testing, and I still don't understand what I did wrong. We'll go ahead and yeah, we'll just play Sea Thrills. Get some stuff. And with a couple of copies of Lucky Clover, you do have to be a little bit careful when you seek thrills. You can like really mill yourself for a lot. But we're gonna win, so. Just using this moment to show them off. Let me try this again. Sorcery. The real one targets the worm coil. And I'm just gonna decline the other 2. Okay, I kind of wanted my opponent to, like, let me do that. How long was this video? This game? 7 minutes? Okay. Okay, we gotta... Depending on how long the game 2 will be, we may or may not do a 3rd game. I usually only do 2 for the sake of Magic the Gathering videos, but this game did a good job. This particular game, not the game 1 of this match, but this game 2 of this match did a good job of showing what the deck's trying to do, so we're going to try and keep this footage in. Now, we'll see if it goes to 3 games or 2 games in this video, but that's then, and this is now. Anywho, on to game number 2. And game number 2 with our little Temur Adventures list. Go ahead and go first. That's fine. Not, like, interesting, but we have things to do. Sorry, how many cards is he running? Okay, a lot. I mean, I'll take it. I need footage. And I have limited time to get it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play a Breeding Pool. Pool. Go ahead and just Growth Spiral right now. I wouldn't... I mean, they're clearly running at least black in their deck, so I would want to, if I could avoid giving them like a free Bone Crusher thing. Sorry, what? Okay. Super Menace. I'm very confused. I don't know what our opponent is running. Oh, careful, honey. You gotta be careful. Can't knock over things that Daddy has. In that case, since we drew the Hall of Storm Giants, we'll just go ahead and bring that in. Since it's going to come into play at this point tapped no matter what we do. I think then we'll just play a Steam Vents tapped. Play a Lucky Clover. Our opponent's doing a whole lot of nothing. So we're going to take advantage of that by trying to do something. They did have a Bowmaster, so my desire to not let them get an extra trigger was, you know, well founded. Okay. I mean, they're doing things. It has to be said. Yes. What do we do? guess I'll just play Pathway on red. I don't know what they're trying to do, and it is confusing me, if I'm being honest. But we had creatures your opponent controls. Okay. In that case, I think we're gonna do a Quandrix command. Gonna bounce and I guess shuffle some cards in. Guess we bounce the Nazgul since it's the biggest, and I guess I'll put a Growth Spiral back in. I mean, maybe they're just like really committed to the theme, which I do love me a good theme. I don't... Oh, that's way better. In that case, we'll go ahead and play an Otawara. Yeah. We'll go ahead and... There's an argument that I wanted to seek the beast, but I think we're just going to play the Questing Druid. With a Quandrix command in our hand, we have a little more in the way of options, things to do. What are we doing? Well, that's terribly unhelpful. But I think we're okay with that, right? I can bounce their token, and I can give 2 1/1 counters. So we bounce the army token, grow both with the Quandrix command itself. God, that name gets me. As well as the Questing Druid's own effect. I mean, okay, that kind of sucks. But, like, okay. Take that. Did they just put in all of the, like, Lord of the Rings cards and was like, fuck it, run it? I mean, admirable, I guess. I don't like playing the Sentinel of Lost Lore and doing nothing with it, but if we don't, we're gonna die. The Sentinel is always nice since the floor is basically an okay 3-cost, 3-drop that can at minimum get rid of a player's graveyard. Okay, there goes my theory about just running all of the Lord of the Rings cards. I really don't want to lose to this, but I kind of need to draw stuff. That is stuff. Okay, now hopefully, because I have less experience in reference to last game, where Stomp will usually cooperate. Yeah, Stomp usually cooperates just fine. It's Brazen Borrower and me maybe not understanding entirely what's going on, which is possible. That usually messes up. If nothing else, he's probably just going to play a Nazgul. Oh boy. That fun card. That's cool. I mean, another Lucky Clover. No point in attacking since they have pro everything. Drawing some cards, finding some things, which is an option. Make sure I'm actually recording because I would love to not lose this game. I don't know what they're. Okay. Literally never. I mean, I've seen the card, but never actually played it. Draw 1 card, becomes a treasure. Fewer than 9 poison counters to get a number equal to the different. Cool, I guess. I guess we'll just Hollow the Storm Giants. Go ahead and get rid of the Vraska in question. Not gonna lie, kinda sucks that it's just a... Okay, I was gonna talk mad shit, but that art looks fucking cool. And I'm usually like, I can usually take or leave like the Phyrexian art style, like it's, hits sometimes and misses others. That's pretty cool. I kind of expected this to be in there with all the Lord of the Rings cards. That, however, is not helpful. We'll go ahead and keep the Steam Vents. It's information that our opponent doesn't need to know that we have. Discard a card, tap it. Okay. Kind of gotta make him make the choice. Granted, doing this doesn't lose him the Witch King, but at this point, we die in 2 swings anyway. And this will make him, at minimum, lose resources. Hey, sweetheart, thank you. He taps it. But also, my Hall doesn't die either, so... Meh. Oh yeah, he can play the Wraith. It is a Wraith, isn't it? I mean, our clock is still 2 turns. That's fine. The deck is making less and less sense. What are they looking for? Okay, I mean, I guess he doesn't have to reveal it. Sorry about that. I had to clear my throat. Like, what are we doing here? I'm very confused. To his credit, he's gonna kill me at this rate. It has to be said. The One Ring is indestructible, except for when it isn't in the story, but that's cool. I would argue getting thrown into lava is not being exiled, but whatever. I guess we'll just do 2 damage and then filter 2 out. Hold on, wait a second. In case I draw a removal spell, actually. 2 damage, the Witch King. I'll try and desperately find something. Huh. If I draw a Bone Crusher Giant and I stomp it, but then he gives the Witch King of Angmar indestructible, hang on, I mean, what's the exact wording on indestructible? Say destroy, don't destroy. And if it's a creature, it can't be destroyed by damage. But if I were to play a stomp and say damage can't be ignored, would that kill it? Also, we get rid of the lands because we have a brain. Okay, that's things to do. I'm concerned that it's gonna do the same kind of fuckery. So in that case, I'm gonna lose the bottom actual Viper, which I don't love. Turn target non-land permanent. Okay, so I think it's because, and I'm almost certain that the Brazen Borrower is worded the same way. There's gotta be... So something about declining or submitting 0 on a spell that has to target something is like destroying the logic. I don't understand. I'm still confused on how that, like... Well, okay, to be fair, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about how the hell this is happening. I went into that one expecting something weird to happen, so I knew I was going to lose the bottom one in the stack, and that's fine. But yeah, like, I guess that seems... Why would it give me the option, I guess? Because I think I understand now where the hang-up is. It just seems odd to give me the option to submit 0 and decline on a spell that cannot do so. And it might just be an oversight, that's fine. I understand that. But I'm thinking that's what's happening. Now, because I need the card draw, we're actually going to save the Seek the Beast part for the end of their turn. So we can try and make some use out of this. I mean, black has burn, so there's like a chance we die. Because, I mean, I would say... You gotta be fucking kidding me. The player's graveyard. Is there anything in my graveyard he wants? I mean, not terribly. Player or planeswalker. Target creature becomes a treasure. You can do a Bowmaster ping. I think I'm gonna do the Questing Druid Seek the Beast first. Draw a buttload of cards. Or, well, draw, air quotes, you can't see me make a bunch of cards. Throwing a lot of lands, which isn't great. Yeah. What did he get out of that? Is it one or each? Put those cards. Okay, so yeah. Or in this case, it's one, but if it was multiplayer, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, Balloona would kind of suck. Yeah, like there's. I mean, there are things he can get in my graveyard. It's just not like the most exciting. Some Bowmasters, Nazgul's probably what's gonna be it. Maybe a Vraska, but that would be significant. He did get Balloona. Wait, what? For each player, choose a creature or planeswalker card in that player's graveyard. Put those cards. Oh, okay, it's right. He chose the. Sorry, I was expecting a second creature, and he got a planeswalker. That makes way more sense now. Is it the next end step or your next end step? So your next. So in that case, we 100% seek the beast and try and pull something out of this. Because we're probably going to lose at this rate, because we have gotten some real bad luck. Getting some... Okay, in that case, what's the battlefield like? Can I... Thank you. So, we're going to stomp. That will be, what, all 4 will need to go on the Vraska? And I can then... Yeah. Well, hang on, let's just keep drawing and see what we're doing here before we start making, like, decisions. I am excited, since I have had, like, pretty good experience with this list about, like, what I'm gonna do with the Bant version that I also have floating around. We know that this is gonna go very poorly, but I'm not really in a position to do anything else about it. Now, even if this gets... Yeah, because it's going to fizzle the spell anyway, because of this weird interaction. Yeah, and I can only... So if I decline, it should then bork the whole thing, and then, like, the rest of it. Or is it submit 0 that does it? Yeah, we knew that one wasn't going to happen. That's fine. Let's say that was just part of the game. I don't need to draw any more cards. So I think we'll be okay on that front. How many cards in hand? Okay, 9 cards. Don't know if we're going to win. But this definitely feels absolutely fucking awesome. How long is this game going? Yeah, 7 minutes for the last one. 15 for the... We're doing okay. Play a Stomping Ground and not do it at instant speed. Gonna grab Questing Druid. And then, oh, that's gonna eat up the last of my green, isn't it? So in that, oh, I can't do the, I already ate my second green up anyway. Like a maroon. In that case, just kind of just be cute here. Think we'll go ahead with the Scalding Viper. We're gonna lose a lot of these cards to the Questing Druid triggers anyway. Yeah. We did get a Balloona, but we're not gonna cast it because that would mill us out. Which is a weird, like, it's not anti-synergy, it just doesn't feel good. God, I think my frustration with the One Ring, I think, actually comes from Shieldred being there. Because they're going to have to do something about one of these 2 cards. Because this shit is deeply unfun. Like, it's like, whatever. Our opponent's doing okay because he's doing degenerate shit, not because he's terribly good. Which, I gotta be honest, really fucking annoying. And they're BMing and taking a sweet-ass time. Yeah, it was a really, really tough fucking call. Play your removal spell. Yeah, opponent's doing stuff. Doesn't have haste, right? No, thank God. Yep, that's cool. That's cool. Now he just kind of doesn't even have to really work for it. Shielder will just do things and eventually win him the game. And that is so what I needed right now. Yeah, we're... I think we die no matter what. No, 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 no. Play the permanent max. Don't play the card that's going to mill you to death. Can attack with a 4, which you have to not block, which you would block because it'd be free. Yeah. There's like nothing we do there. Which is like not the coolest. I have to bring in the Might. Growth Spiral is out of here. It's a borderline useless card. Honestly, probably going to cut down on... Let's see, there's a balloon that's probably going to go. Maybe an Edgewall Innkeeper or two, since we don't really want to draw that many cards anyway. So maybe like a Frilled Mystic and like a couple Clothuses. Since, like, normally I want to draw cards because black is black right now. Oh my god, as I almost unplugged my mic. Is it plugged in? Real fast. Yeah, everything's plugged in. Since black is black right now and has a very unfun play pattern, they're going to kind of get away with murder. 3 lands, 4 spells, a Lucky Clover, and some adventures. Not bad. Beginning to feel like, however, this particular game is going to go long enough that I might not need a game number 3. Which we take. That's fine. Any one of the shock lands untapped was going to be our play on turn 1. Doesn't terribly matter which one. Since we were going to play the other one, make it come to play untapped, losing life, and playing a Lucky Clover. Our opponent isn't really doing a whole lot. We're gonna play the island so I can keep the Quandrix command open. If I were to shock it in and then just pass, it would even more so very obviously telegraph that I have something. I think we will actually shock the breeding pool in. Just play a Haywire Might. He can have a removal spell, but I'd rather him waste it on this. Probably does. Which is fine. That is totally fine. Important to keep the Quandrix command, the ability to counter artifact spells. Kinda like this. I actually think I'm gonna let that resolve. Oh, right. I gotta have a second fucking target, don't I? That's a very good question. What do we do here? Because I don't have a second target to get rid of it with. So I lose the Brazen Borrower, which I kind of need. Okay, the Palantir is okay. We'll deal with that for a bit. Draw your card, my dude. Draw your card. I kind of want... I'm becoming more okay with that play, because I want them to have multiple things on the board to make it proper use of the Petty Theft and Lucky Clover combination. Honestly, that will do just that. And then with the copy, we can get rid of the Palantir, and this shouldn't mess up because both targets are legal, and I'm actually making choices. Yeah, he's tempting, but... The ring's tempting him, but that's fine. I don't care about that. Now we have the Brazen Borrower. Ooh, Edgewall Innkeeper's pretty nice. That leaves me... Yeah, I got the extra green. Yeah. Again, maintaining options. If he plays a land and tries to play the one ring, we can always counter it and make our stuff big. He might just have another removal spell, also very possible. But if he has removal spells, I kind of got to make him use it. I'm going to assume him because the guy's name is John. That's fine. Is he also going to remove the Innkeeper? Okay. That resolves. What else is he... What is that? 1 mana on 1. Equipped creature gets 1/1. Equipped creature becomes blocked. Blocks. What? Creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature. That, okay. I mean... I don't think I care, right? Anywho, let's see. I think we'll name green. There is an argument that I could just like start pointing stomps at my opponent's face, but like kind of don't want to do that. I do have 3 cards to get back, so I think we are going to get rid of the Palantir now. Countering a spell, and we're going to shuffle our library in. Targeting a player, all 3 of my things. Get back in the library. Which is nice, since as we saw with the Balluna here, if you are not careful with how you order things, you can like very quickly mill yourself out. All in the the search of card draw. Play another Haywire Might, whether it's the same one or another one, who knows, and irrelevant. There's a Nazgul. I think I am gonna stomp this while I can. So we're gonna stomp the first one, send the copy up top, and the base Bone Crusher should resolve before. Yeah, baby. We're in a much better spot. In that case, I think we're gonna play a Bone Crusher. Now leaving up enough mana for both commands, depending on what a particular situation calls for. Although in this matchup, I think the Quandrix command is going to be the more useful of the two, but I could be wrong. Also, another kind of... This is actually a pretty good game if you're like newer to Magic, or like we'll say either newer to Magic or newer to like non-commander Magic, of why you don't want 158 cards in their library, where they were doing a pretty good job of trouncing me game 1 because their deck is so thick and has so many cards. The odds of having whatever card they need at any given point in time is so much drastically lower that they can have wildly variant games like this, where I felt like I was gonna really get 2-0'd this game and be in a very bad spot. But I think because their deck has 158 cards or whatever it is in it, I was able to possibly get a win I might not have deserved just because of that fact. Although deserved might not be the right word. But it's the only one I can think of at this point in time, so, what are you gonna do? And this game is taking long enough that I don't think we're gonna need a game number 3, so... Which is usually a thing I reserve for Hearthstone videos if you don't happen to watch my Hearthstone content, as that game is best of 1, and well, I'm trying to keep my videos to a certain length. 2 lands, 1 spell, 1 spell we can play. Do I keep that? I'm gonna say yeah. If I draw like a green mana, a green source of mana, then we're absolutely cooking. Opponent is... Oh, I mean, I guess to their credit, that's like not that much of an ask for a deck to have, because it's just like an extra swamp if you need it to be. Okay, game, I'm gonna need another land here. Otherwise, I'm going to look really, really stupid keeping a 2-lander I was already on the fence about. In that case, we're just going to bounce the army token now. Since the March from the Black Gate Okay, that's technically what I asked for. Since the March from the Black Gate requires that you basically have an army to do anything, if you don't, then it just kind of sits there. So we'll take that. I don't like shocking this in and, like, playing so face-up with this, but at least our opponent already knows we have the Brazen Borrower, so they kind of can't necessarily distinguish. Playing a Nazgul, and in that case, we'll just use our mana to shock it before it goes off, and we'll make a treasure token. Much like how we, in the last game, stomped one of their or in one of the previous games, we stomped one of their Nazguls before the tempting trigger from the Nazgul, like, went off. Okay, that helps a lot. Helps a whole hell of a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, we're gonna keep a breeding pool. I was gonna play some cards, but because we drew a Frilled Mystic, I'm actually just gonna kind of sit on it. And hopefully get, like, a high value counter out of this. And even if we don't, we can just play a Brazen Borrower naturally. Almost certainly has some sort of removal, like your Disfigures or something, but we're happy with that. Because we basically have, you know, a good tempo play in the Frilled Mystic. And this is a good example of, like, why a seemingly odd inclusion like the Frilled Mystic is in here. There are moments like this where my opponent's really only going to do one big thing a turn, and to counterspell and develop a creature is a pretty damn good play. It's a good tempo play. Granted, not flashy at all. But especially in moments like this when we have a fantastic thing to counter, we counter that motherfucker all day. Get the fuck out of here. And this Frilled Mystic looks almost feminine, so there's an argument that we could do the "I am no man" thing as the stab in the helmet thing from the movies happens. That's great. I'm so glad. That was a great moment to show why Frilled Mystic is fantastic. I think we're just gonna play the Clothis, since I only have the green mana to do one of the two things. The Clothis is a good stabilizing tool here. They showed to have some little bits of, like, recursive threat stuff from the graveyard, but mainly it does do that, but it also helps to sort of stabilize and put a clock on the game, which we like. Get the Witch King out of here in case he reaches the multiverse to get another copy. Okay, how are we going to do this? So I can do a Lucky Clover first, then do a Beanstalk Giant, getting 2 copies, which will allow me, honestly, probably going to grab a Forest and a Mountain. Now, that gives us the ability to play the Edge Keeper, so the next turn we can draw. We can basically can't make our Beanstalk Giant cantrip, basically. Go ahead and bonk with the Brazen Borrower. And if he attacks with a Troll, we can't block anyway, since it has Super Menace. But I don't think we care. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think we care. We just kind of hit our opponent, although, you know. Our opponent's deck was fine. It's just like, I know I've already harped on this a lot. Like, they could have slimmed that deck down to like 60 cards, what you should do in a constructed format, and like just have a much better experience. And like, and I'm the last person to care too much about win rate, but like, if he cuts the size of his deck down, he's just gonna have a better time just piloting the deck. He's going to have more consistent games that are more interesting because you're able to draw the thing you want in a constructed environment. It's one of those, like, yeah, I don't, it's not, I won fair and square, but like the fact that he is running a very thick deck, John, to keep with the innuendo, did help that win. But since that deck or that game went on a particularly long time, I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. So I just wanted to say thank you all for watching. I apologize about the first game being... one, I apologize about the cats you can hear in the background. But two, I apologize for the first game being kind of weird. But I say this in most videos. I only really have like my weekends to record, and even then my free time is like kind of limited, so I gotta take footage where I can get it. Anywho, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future, and if you have any sort of nice or otherwise constructive comments, go ahead and leave them down below and I shall do what I can to respond to each. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for watching. And it's getting well, I was going to say it's getting kind of cool, but no, it's like way too goddamn hot for October. So just stay safe out there. Bye-bye.